Welcome to the Help or Be Brave podcast show. Today, we are so excited to have Steventhen with us. Steventhen, you are amazing. Your story is riveting. I'm so proud of you for sharing it. And you have such a unique voice in the pro-life movement. And I'm thankful for your courage in sharing about how you were conceived in rape and how brave your mom was and your love for your mom. So I would love for you, there's so much to your story. Tell us about your experience even in finding all of this out and your mom's story.
Yeah, Amy, thank you so much for having me on. I admire your work and how hard you guys work to with your platform, your message. But yeah, so I was 8 years old. I found out at school that some kids said, "You're weird and different." I was like, "What are you talking about, weird and different?" And they're like, "Well, you're the wrong color." Oh. So that's how I actually found out that I was a foster kid and adopted. Came into my family as a 7-day-old child. I found that out that night talking to my parents about why my skin color was different than theirs. And
so you just said, "Hey, Mom, why do I look different than the rest of the family?"
Well, if I'm being honest, I was crying and, they called me weird and different. Like that hurts, right? To hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. And I'm like, "Mom, why is my skin color different?" I'd never noticed, for 8 years of my life that I was different color than my family. And I always tell people when I share that, love goes deeper than color.
That's so good.
DNA or blood. And it just, I found out that day that they literally brought me in as a 7-day-old child. I was so weak, malnutrition, that I couldn't even suck a bottle. And this family, didn't care that I was a different color or DNA. They literally squeezed milk in my mouth and saved my life.
Wow.
And found out again, they officially adopted me at age 2. So as an 8-year-old child, that's a pretty big pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Why? Well, just really that question, why, God? Why do I have to look different? Why is my name weird? Because I had siblings that were Ricky, Rod, Renee, and Robin, and then there's Steventhen,
Yeah.
So I didn't know my story, but the biggest why was I not good enough to keep? Like, why did my mom not want me? And that's even in the middle of, having this family that just showered me with love.
Right. It was at 8 years old, that's just a lot to process.
Absolutely. And, and I always tell people I had a drug problem. I was drug in and drug out of every church service known to man. I grew up in that kind of family. So Jesus was always a part of my life. And I even felt guilty at times, feeling, why can I have these why questions, and why even desire to have a relationship or know about my birth mom when I have this amazing family, right? But I think it was just something that I've found as I've traveled and speak, and I get to interact with people like me that have been in foster care and adoption. I think there's a longing, really for all of us, just that why question is big.
Yes. So at 8 years old, did you feel like immediately you wanted to know who your mom was, or did that happen over time that you finally felt ready to know who your mom was?
Oh, goodness. At 8 years old, I found that out. It was more of just processing, I think. Again, I had that question of why, but it wouldn't really, come up. I wouldn't pursue that question until, as later in life, as middle school, high school, just those adolescent years. When I play that card with my parents, like, you're not my real parents, right? And just, I would have struggles and things like, what if I was with a different family, situation different. And there were so many times where I would come so close to seeking her out, or starting that journey, or asking my parents if they would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until 27, Amy, I, married. My wife and I had 2 miscarriages. We lost an 8-week-old and a 10-week-old. And honestly, I wanted to find out information to save my babies, because I was a dad at that point,
Yeah, your family history.
Yeah, I want to protect my babies, and I've lost 2 already, and I don't know my past. And if I could find out that to save my babies, it'd be worth it.
Wow.
So that's what led me to, I thought back to that 8-year-old little boy sitting on the edge of the bed with my mom, and she had given me a 3-ring binder, had 8 pages of typewriter paperwork in it. And my birth certificate was in there, and then 7 pages of broken family history. And I took that paperwork, got on Google, and searched for 3 days. On day 3, I found a website for this man named Steve Holt. He's a magician and ventriloquist from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I don't like clowns. I don't like Chucky. I don't like it. I'm not down with any of that stuff. So I didn't want to be on this man's website, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Hey guys, we have a really cool new resource that we would love to get into your hands. It is called Life Support, and it's a quick guide to the pro-love movement. So it gives you lots of ideas and an overview of the whole pro-life movement. It's a little quick download. It's not a deep read or anything like that, but it just kind of gives you an entry point into the pro-life movement of where maybe you might want to get involved. So if you go to helperbebrave.com and you scroll to the bottom of the page, fill that little thing out, and it will get straight to you, and you will have so many great ideas of maybe something that will connect your heart to where you want to start to serve in the pro-life movement. So go check that out, helperbebrave.com. And did you know you were from South Carolina? Like, did you have that to go from, or just a last name?
I just had the last name.
Okay.
So my birth mom's name was Glenda Sue Holt.
Okay.
So I thought, well, okay, this man's last name is Holt, so I'm going to, give it some time. So I clicked on his bio, and as I'm reading through the digit on the screen, I've got my paperwork on the desk, and literally every name, is matching up. And this is all information that my birth mom had given when she dropped me off as a 7-day-old child at Human Services.
Mm-hmm.
They took record, and it was a little bit of what she shared. There wasn't a ton, but there were names.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, at 27 years old, I actually find my birth uncle that I didn't know existed. I was living in Tampa, Florida, youth pastoring, had my little family of one daughter. We lost 2 babies, like I said, but it was in 2009. And I fly to Tampa, Florida, from Tampa, Florida to Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I stand in this man's living room that I'm meeting for the first time. And he tells me over 2 days how I came to be. And what I found out was that there were 6 kids. He's the only one that's not mentally handicapped. So that my mom was mentally handicapped, only functions as an 11-year-old child mentally. And when she turned 18, they had gone into the system because their parents had died. So they were in the children's home. Okay. When she aged out of that system at 18, she became a ward of the state and was moved into a mental facility. And one evening at that facility, she was raped by 5 men and got pregnant with me. And so you can imagine the state-ran facility in the state of Georgia. They were pressuring her to abort her baby every day once they found out she was pregnant. Wow. And but my hero, I found out what she did for me is she ran away, carried me homeless, wound up 9 months pregnant, 18 years old, living in the cardboard box behind an old grocery store in the town that I actually grew up in. And this 16-year-old boy named Bobby found her in this box. He took her home to his family, which that's wild, right? A 16-year-old young man walks into
and he's like, I found a pregnant woman living in a box. Wow. The courage of that guy.
I know. It's just God is so good, so faithful. But yeah, they decided, they said yes to this stranger carrying me, and they cared for us for a couple of weeks until she gave birth to me in Chattanooga, Tennessee on March 31st, 1982. And everybody always asks me, like, what kind of name is Steventhen? Who gives you that name? My hero did.
She did.
They said, what do you want to name your son in the hospital? She said, I want to name him Stephen, then William Holt. And my middle name is William. And whoever heard the way she spoke and the way they heard it, they wrote it Steventhen. So Stephen and then became my first name.
Love it.
But I find all that out, which is amazing. That was enough, but God wasn't done yet. My uncle looked at me and said, hey, your mom's alive. She's 5 hours south of where we stand. Wow. And he asked me, do you want to meet her? And so at 27 years old, I got to meet my hero in person. And we captured it on film. It's on YouTube. Maybe we could.
Yeah, we'll probably put some of that in. Yes.
I love my sunshine, and I love my life, and I love all of y'all, and never forgive me. Amen. Amen.
magic show and our song and dance. All right?
We got a song.
And Stephen's going to sing for us.
I got a song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved
a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I want to show y'all how good God is. Glenda, you stay right here. Come here. I wasn't going to do it this way, but we are. Glenda Sue, you know I love you.
I love you.
You have been through a whole lot. And you've been the best girl you could be for 46 years. And you had a little boy when you were about 18. And you missed that little boy. His name was Steventhen William, but he has a different last name. The family that you gave him to take care of him, their last name was Holland. So his name is Steventhen William Holland. And this is him. Your boy. He's a good boy. Let me tell you. You are his real mama. And you've been the best mama you could be to me.
I'm so happy you made the choice that you did.
Now you have real baby pictures of him. And you have pictures of the Holland family, Mr. and Miss Holland, that raised him. He has a lot of family. And they love you. They've always loved you.
Son, I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I love you deeply in my heart. And I want to say I'm glad that you're here today. And Mama loves you. And I have from this first time that you was in my belly. I sang to you, I read nursery rhymes to you, I remember all that. And this is your mama right here. And I love you, my son. And I want to show you something that I've learned. I love Jesus, and I want you to know that I love my family. And I know now I have a real big family that I can look forward to seeing.
So amazing. Like, I can't imagine how fast your heart was beating, like even just walking in and knowing you're about to meet your birth mother and knowing the story behind all of that. Wow. What was that? I love how your uncle did it with you guys singing, you know, and he said that it was heavy and that, hey, let's lighten it up by singing Amazing Grace. And that was such a beautiful moment. Like, what did you feel? Just seeing her for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I had actually spent 2 hours with her, interacting with her, and she didn't know who I was. Of course, I knew who she was. And because, I mean, she's 46 when we met, but she's still only 11-year-old mental capacity. So we didn't know how that would go.
Yeah, how should process that.
Yeah, would it be trauma, too much for her to handle? And we really wanted to, to ease in. So my uncle actually had done a magic show for these residents. So, and the mental picture here is they were schizophrenic, bipolar, and so it was kind of awkward. But I had a camera rolling in the back of the room, and we were going to do this interaction where it was very private in her room, but God just took over the space. And she had been singing a couple songs, which they didn't really, make sense. They made sense to her throughout the day. And I felt led to come sing Amazing Grace. But when I hit that word saved,
oh yeah,
it wasn't just spiritual salvation. It was like this woman that I'm staring in the face. She literally saved me. And I lost it. I start crying, and she had not been on pitch or key all day long and singing, but she sang that song. That's one of the most beautiful versions of Amazing Grace I've ever heard.
Totally. And she knew it. She knew it. Oh my gosh.
So, she sings that finishes that verse. And, but just for me, I just realized I was saved. Like I was literally saved by this woman. Like it just all hit, as I'm staring her in the eyes. And there was something I tell people, I never, I was secure in my relationship with the Lord. I know my worth. I knew my value. I didn't have to meet my mom to claim that over my life.
Right.
But when she looked me in the eyes, all those why questions I'd had for 27 years, why was I not wanted? Why was I not loved? Like,
yeah.
She saved me. Like she literally carried me homeless and fought for me when the world would say that I wasn't worth it.
Right.
But I was to her. And
you were loved so much.
She looked at me. I'm so blessed that blessed to have this captured on video. But she looks at me and says, I love you. I would have never given you up if I could have kept you.
Wow.
Like I needed to hear that.
Yes.
And,
wow. And I love her reaction. It wasn't because you guys didn't know how she was going to process it. Like you were saying, like trauma, whatever, but it was like immediate. Like she had been waiting for this moment, the way she just grabbed you and hugged you. So amazing.
Yeah. And so we edited the video, because we captured, in the fact that we moved spaces into her room after that initial interaction happened. And I had made a photo album for her because she didn't have any pictures, obviously, of me or know I existed. So
like pictures of you growing up and
right.
Okay.
I had the very first picture they ever had of me at 7 days old when they brought me home to literally, her grandkids, at the end of the album, as she's sitting there looking at the pictures. To me, I think it's just amazing that once you're a mother, you're always a mother. Once that experience, whether, you choose an adoption plan or, even I would even say with abortion, right? Yeah. There's still that motherly instinct that's just there innately. And she starts to rock, like she's in a rocking chair recliner, and she's looking at the pictures, and you can just see her, rocking. And I don't know, that just really touches me every time I see it, that she's always been a mom.
Yeah. And so you guys went on to do life together. But you guys live in different states. I know she's passed away now, but y'all live in different states at that time?
Right. So my wife and I have been married for 19 years and lived 16 different homes. So we moved around a lot, but we were, she was in the state of Georgia, a ward of the state. So she was in mental facilities. They kind of moved her around. Yeah. Sadly, I wanted to rescue her from that so bad. But we lived mostly in Alabama, which is where we are now. And she lived in Georgia. So we were about 7 hours away from each other. But we had her for 11 years. Wow. She had the honor of meeting all 3 of her grandbabies, my daughters. What was really kind of beautiful and sad at the same time, but beautiful was like when we would go to visit her, mentally, they were the same age. So my daughters would bring coloring books.
They would have so much fun, I bet.
Yes. And they played together. And they honestly literally got to love their Gigi. They call her Grandma Glenda. Yeah. And, but sadly, she passed away on Thanksgiving of 2020. So we're approaching about 5 years now. I get a call that from my uncle. He was kind of the family liaison, the point of contact. And she had actually choked on a sandwich, Amy, in a mental facility that she was in, which I'm like, really, Lord?
Yeah, that would be the way she goes.
Out of my hero, like all the stuff that she's been through. But I started sharing, after I had time to process and grieve for about a week or so. I started, at this point, I've been sharing my story and traveling, hundreds, thousands of people, and they've seen the video of meeting Mama Glenda. And I started sharing on social and whatnot, and people started coming back with this message. She's not just your hero. She's mine too. And she mattered. She had worth. She had value. She had purpose.
Yeah, she did. And I'm so thankful that I don't know what was your first speaking engagement or how you just started sharing your story, but I'm so thankful for your courage in doing that. And I know with abortion, there's so many people that use the rape. They'll say, well, what if a girl's raped and that maybe they should have abortions? And I know it's less than 2%. And your voice, we talk about statistics, but you're a real person. Right. That was conceived in rape, and you are doing amazing things. And so your voice it brings it back down to, this is a human being, a life. Absolutely. And look at the courage of this birth mom who ran away to save you, and being out in the elements in a cardboard box, leaving a roof over her head so that she could protect her baby is so huge.
Yeah. And even all that, but only an 11-year-old mental capacity, that's the mind of a child.
Yeah.
Just to the elementary, she saw the worth of the baby she was carrying, even as only an 11-year-old mental capacity. Wow. That I challenge people every time I share, if she has that, with that lack of mental, we would look at lack of mental capability, but at the essence of it, she knew that baby had worth, that I had worth and value.
Totally. Totally. And even after the trauma of rape, and that's right. So sad that happened. But I'm so thankful that you're here. And I know, with me, when I go around and speak we both are speakers, and we make our rounds, and there's always people that come up to me afterwards and have, something that's tied to my own story. They'll have something to say. There always seems to be a common theme. What is it after your speaking engagements, what do people come up to say to you after they hear your story?
I laugh because, like you said earlier, there's so much in my story.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Amy, I'm there 2 hours after an event. To be honest with you, that's affirmation for me that I need to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Not only have I had, I had a whole small group of women from a church. There were 10 of them surrounded me after an event. And I thought, okay, I've said something, that's offended them, whatever. They actually all came with the perception that, okay, we're okay with abortion in cases of rape and incest. But then after hearing my story, all 10 of them changed their mind.
Stop.
And they were crying
Wow.
and hugged me. And so when I have moments, and that's just one of many, but when I have moments like that, it's just okay, God, I have to keep sharing my story. I have to keep showing up and being a voice in this space. But then there's also stories of where I have adopted parents that come up and share to me, they're crying and it's heavy, that they've got a biracial child, or an African-American child in a white home, or things like that. And they're processing, hey, my son or daughter's asking those same questions of why, and I don't know what to say to them. And it's well, you don't have to say anything to them because you can't relate other than point them to Jesus and love them unconditionally. Only Jesus is going to be able to mend that. But I'm willing to have a conversation with them. And I have. I've done Zoom calls with some children at times, just obviously with permission from their parents. And I've even met in person, when I've come back to an area, made myself available for that. But it's even just people asking, hey, I'm struggling with why right now. If you can overcome what you've overcome, let me share what I'm going through right now. And I get to pray with them. And
that gives them hope. They're if he got through that, I can maybe get through what I'm going through.
But I think just for the movement we're in and just the voice, when I have those moments where people are either have literally changed their position on their stance on whether they agree with rape and abortion in cases of rape and incest, or there's at least seeds planted to where I've got to really think about my position after hearing your story. You put flesh and bone.
Wow. Yeah, right.
So,
it's like they're looking at you saying, well, why is your life less valuable than someone else's? That a baby that was conceived out of a marriage, or
right.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to hear is when, just personally for me, I mean, I take it personal. It's painful at times. Like, man, you're awesome. I love you, whatever they say, but I still feel like your mom should have had the choice to terminate.
Wow.
That's tough. That's hard to hear. Like, really?
Yeah. Wow.
But I understand, again, having grace and mercy and understanding where their position,
Yeah.
Hey friends, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about something really special, the Pro Love Collective. It's our community of monthly partners who make everything we do at Embrace Grace possible. When you join the Pro Love Collective, you're not just giving, you're saying yes to helping more single and pregnant women find hope, support, and a spiritual family. You're helping the church be the hands and feet of Jesus to brave moms who need to know that they're not alone. Every monthly gift, big or small, truly makes a difference. It helps launch more Embrace Grace groups in churches across the nation, provide baby showers and resources, and share the message that there is always hope. If you've been impacted by this podcast or believe in the pro-love movement, I'd love for you to join us today. Just visit embracegrace.com/give to sign up. That's embracegrace.com/give. Together, we can help her be brave.
May have been stirring your heart lately to start a support group for women with unexpected pregnancies. And I just want to encourage you, you should do it. You will have front row seats to miracles. It's not scary. We give you everything that you need administratively so that you have more time to spend with the moms relationally. It's plug and play. The teachings are done for you. We give you the icebreaker questions, the handouts that go with each lesson. We give you everything that you need to successfully launch a group at your church. And the pregnancy centers in your area will refer the moms to your group. And it's just an awesome experience. We want your church to be a safe place for these moms. We want your church to open their doors and their hearts to women with unexpected pregnancies. So we have 3 programs. We have Embrace Grace. That is a program for single and pregnant moms that you can lead. Or if God's calling you to lead Embrace Life, which is for young single moms that you can lead. Also, men that are out there, you can lead a group called Embrace Legacy, and it's for young fathers. We need more dads in the movement that are actually fathering, and you can mentor them and walk alongside them. So go check out embracegrace.com and fill out the form to get more information on how you can start a group at your church. Well, you started Broken Not Dead, which is an amazing ministry. I was reading up a little bit about it, but share with everyone just this ministry that's been birthed because of your story.
Yeah, Broken Not Dead's a battle cry. It honestly, that's God gave me, just kind of dropped that name in my lap back in 2018. Is when we launched it as a nonprofit officially, but it was really just me sharing my story, my Broken Not Dead story, which is what I continue to do today. But it's been beautiful to see how God, really just moved on my heart to say, this isn't just a platform for you. This is an us ministry, not a me ministry. So what we started doing was we started identifying Broken Not Dead stories all over the country, and we find those stories, and a lot of them don't even have a platform like we do, Amy, to share their story. So we give them that platform to share. And so we've done to date 40 Broken Not Dead stories. We identify the story, decide how we want to tell the story, raise money for it. And once we get the funds to do it, we produce it and put it out on our YouTube channel. And as well as you guys have this beautiful platform, it's amazing how wide the reach is.
Yeah.
I had just one quick story. I had a 70-year-old man that said, God told me my story was going to go around the world, but I have no desire to travel and speak, like you guys do. Mm-hmm. And on day 3 of his story being out, I got a comment from Ireland, and this man had been touched by his story. Wow. I sent him a screenshot, and I said, see, God's a God that still keeps his promises. So that's, and I could sit here and share all day about, I'm so passionate about, and it's just, I think people in the church and outside the church need to know that, yeah, you're broken, but you're not dead yet.
Yeah.
Right. There's still purpose. There's still, keep going. So it's been beautiful to see how God's expanded the territory with that.
That's amazing. Everybody needs to check that out. How would they get connected to that ministry?
Yeah,
And
so
to
we have
you?
brokennotdead.com. Of course, you can access the YouTube channel from there, but it's Broken Not Dead Ministries is a YouTube channel. And then everything to do with Steventhen. I'm the only Steventhen in the world. So I own
You make it easy to find.
Yeah, I own .com, .org, and .net. So,
Okay.
but .com is Steventhen.com will take you to the platform. So I have 25. I'm a singer-songwriter as well. I have 25 songs I've recorded that are out on all the digital music platforms.
That's awesome.
My book's on Amazon, The Journey, Brokenness to Wholeness. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know people are going to want to dig in more. Steventhen, thank you so much for being on today and for sharing your story. I know that your story touches so many lives, and your mom's courageous story, even though she's gone, it's like her story's still being told. And I know that it will for a very, very long time. And so thank you for your courage and sharing it and taking the time to hang out with us today.
You're welcome, Amy. Thank you so much for having me on. God bless you all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.